Hi guys, Ray here from Two Gaming Girls, and in today's eco video we're going to take a look at my auto lumber yard. We'll see how it works and then I'll show you how to make one for yourself. Let's get started. So this is my version of a lumber yard. It's 4 stores combined into one big store. It's a hewn log store over here, a board store, a lumber store, and then a furniture store on this other end. Now, while there's 4 stores, only these 3 over here can actually be run without you doing anything. These can be set up and you can walk away for quite a while and it will automatically create hewn logs, boards, and lumber for people that need it. This one, we'll get to it at the end, but I would advise only queuing a few things and coming back to check on it periodically, and I'll explain why when we get to that. But let's start over here at our hewn log store. So right now, if I go to the store and I open it, if I am just some other person on the server, I can sell you some logs and in return automatically get some hewn logs. The way that's set up is inside the building we have a carpenter's table right here, and it's set to produce hewn logs. Right now I have 999 hewn logs set. So the moment that logs appear, hewn logs are created. Now you would want to do this even further. You would want to stack a full 999 5 times over so that you could walk away from this for a very long time and anyone that brings logs can get what they want. We'll go up top and look at that in a little bit, but for now we're going to move on to the next store, which is our board store. So this one, people can sell you logs or hewn logs. So it takes hewn logs to make the boards, but sometimes people don't have that. So instead of having them come to this other store and sell the logs, get the hewns, and carry it over here and get the hewns, they can kind of do it all in one. So they can sell this and sell these, and either one will produce the boards. The way this is set up is with these 2 tables over here. So this carpentry table is like the other. It's set up to make boards into hewns, and then this saw machine will take any hewn logs and turn them into boards. So if someone sells you some logs, it'll craft up these and then automatically craft up these. So it'll take a little bit longer, but they can get it directly from the logs as well as the hewn logs. Alright, we're going to move over to our next store. This one is our lumber store. It only needs logs, and it's actually this store which makes it so that you can't really do it from one store table by itself. You can do the boards, or you can do hewn logs, sorry about that, from logs. So they would be competing for each other if we did both of these on one store. It also just makes things a little bit smoother to understand when you have them split up like this. So let's take a look at this. Here someone can come in and sell you logs, and it will automatically, when you come back here, you can see this saw table is making lumber from logs, and the byproduct is not just the lumber, but it also makes wood pulp. So that wood pulp is going to stack up for a while if we just leave it like that. So there's 2 things we're going to do with it. 1, we can sell it if we want, and 2, if you look over here at this carpentry table, we're using our wood pulp to make paper. The paper is useful when it comes over to our last store, the furniture store. So a lot of these things that we're selling here, all these shelves and signs and doors, the bookshelves, which actually I think this is, let's not look at that one. I think it is this sawmill right here. Yeah, so this sawmill is making bookshelves, and it's making shelves and wood signs. And as you can see, it takes not only boards but also paper to make the shelf cabinets. So we're using a byproduct of creating that to also create some of the materials we need for these. And over here, finishing it up on our last store, again, that's selling all our furniture, we have another carpentry table. And this one's doing some of the other furniture that's through the carpentry table, like your tables and your smaller signs. So you can make any of these things. I tried to pick the ones that were kind of basic, like you could do contract boards. I would only queue up a few. I mean, you could do more than 2, but I would queue up like 10 or 20. You get a feel for what your server will want and need, but this will keep it from you having too much of one thing. So if you make a whole bunch of small tables and nobody wants them, what they really wanted was signs, although that's probably reversed. Probably too many signs and people really want the small table since it's the only thing that makes a living room. You just want to not have too many. So start off with small queues and then you'll learn your server and kind of adjust as needed. You can also sell paper. So about half these things take just, you know, boards and lumber. I stayed away from anything like this needs plant fibers, but you could go out, collect those, and also sell these as well. So I try to keep this kind of symmetrical. That's why this carpentry table should kind of be over here, but I put it over there just for looks. The last things we need to go over are what's in these chests. So starting back here in the ceiling, this is where our boards are being saved. So every time we have boards, and these are all named, so it's boards 1, 2, and 3. I don't think we would ever fill up all of these, but there are 3 storage containers worth of boards you could hold. On this end, we have pulp. So this is where the extra pulp will go. This is where paper would go. And this last one is any other mats that you're going to have for the furniture. Right now, it's got the doors I made earlier when I was testing it. But if you have other mats, they can go here. Again, I don't think you're going to fill these up, but this is safety measures. This means this is this is what keeps it being automatic, that you have room for people to buy in bulk. Nothing's going to fill up too fast. All right, we're going to go up to the top and take a look at what we have there. All right, so now that we're up here, we have a good view of things. You can see we use our space pretty well. So we have a lot of stockpiles up here. These 2 are used for our first store. These are, and I think they're named, logs for boards. And over here we have logs for hewing. So this is the first store. This is where the hewn logs will sit if someone just sold you some logs but they didn't purchase any hewn logs. So log space, hewn space. This is logs for boards. Over here we have logs for lumber. Up here I believe will be the hewn logs for boards. So it matches the stores below them. Now over here we have kind of general mats for furniture. People may sell you a whole lot of different things. We'll take a look at the store in a second. And this is where the lumber will stock up. Up there we have our 2 windmills. So you need one of these can power 2 sawmills. And we could get by with just 2. I added a third and therefore needed a second windmill because if these are constantly running, if you have people coming in and you want to come in and queue up some furniture, this keeps it from disrupting what you have. You don't have to wait on what people are doing or reorder the queues. You can just leave these 2 attached to these stores over here and use this third one for yourself. So in this store you can see we're buying a lot of different things. So this stockpile above it will accept all those different things. Now I didn't go and set the prices. That's something you're going to want to play with. Right now this is not giving you any profit. It's 1 log. It takes 2 logs rather to make 1 hewn log, and that's literally what it takes. It takes 2 logs to make a hewn log. So you would probably want to up this so you're making some kind of profit or something. I'll let you play with that. It's going to get a little bit more complicated by the time you get to this section over here playing with all of these. So now that you've seen the whole building, I'm going to show you how to make this for yourself. To start off, you're going to want to claim a space that is 4 wide And then on each end, you're going to want to move forward to claim the squares there. And in the center, you're going to want to move back one to claim the squares there, so that you get a shape that looks like this. Now, you can do this in a very modular sense. So these two squares are actually the first store, the hewn log store. You could just claim these two and do just that store. This will be the board store, these two, and these two will be the lumber. So as you grow in your skills, if you can't make all of that yet, there's no need to necessarily make the building. You could claim the space. There's only 8 of these needed to claim all the spaces. You can also claim the space in the middle later. That will be the inner portion of the store. And of course, later you can also claim these back corners if you want to put something there or extend the space. But we're going to start with this little section here and move from there. Now you can build this out of any material that you want. I kind of like the stone at the bottom with the lumber and wood at the top, but again, you could build this all out of wood, all out of hewn logs, whatever you want. The thing you're going to need to do is ring this. So you're going to outline this entire shape with your base level. Let me use this, make sure I'm at the right spot. I like using the full foundation. Let's go over here and just see. So when you do a full foundation versus a wall, you kind of get this look where it sticks out a little bit further, and I like that. So we're going to do that over here. So we're going to make sure this goes 5 across, 4, 5, and then we'll go back. That's 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5. So this should be, yep, I'm right. This is kind of outlining mostly the first square, the first plot. So I'm going to go ahead and ring the rest of this, and then I'll be right back. So our outline is done, as you can see, and I went ahead and added 2 doors. They're dead center of this center section. Actually, are they dead center? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, they are. They just looked off for a second. So the next thing to do is put in the floor. So the other reason I like putting these as foundations instead of walls is that it means when we're digging this up, we don't actually need to put any ground below this. If you put a wall down, let's actually pick one up and let's replace it as a wall. Well, that's going the wrong way, but you can see how there's side on each side. There's an opening on each side that would be visible, meaning this block below it would look a little weird. We'd have grass on the inside of our building. So I'm going to go ahead and build this lower level with foundations and dig all of this up. Now the floor, again, is your choice. You can build it whatever you want, but when you get to this section over here where our 3 sawmills will be sitting in the middle, each sawmill takes 18 tier 2. So like tier 2 material would be bricks. So if we're going to put all 3 in, we're going to need 54 bricks to cover this ground. So there's enough tier 2 material for all 3 of them. So I'm going to show you what that will look like. I did bricks for my entire floor, but I know just because I like how it looks being one consistent floor, but I know it's often difficult to get bricks, so I will show you the minimum bricks needed, and I'll cut back in when I have that down. So I'm stopping just a second in the process to show you the minimum needed brick wise tier 2 material for the sawmills. This is kind of a pattern that you could do and keep it looking kind of nice. So I went ahead and put in some tier 1 materials for the floor, some hewn logs, just so we can test and make sure that this is actually working the way I said it would, that we can have all 3 sawmills in here and that it would work with this shape. So next is the walls. I'm just going to show you real quick what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to finish it up so you don't have to watch that whole process. So I'm going to build the walls up 2 high like that. Let me drop these in and get some hewn logs, and then I'm going to put in a ceiling like that. So this is the general shape. Let me put this away. There'll be the mortared stone at the bottom, 2 things of lumber, and then a ceiling of hewn logs. I'm going to do that around the entire building and cut back in when we're ready to put in all the things for the store. So we're done with the walls and the ceiling. You can, of course, take this up higher if you want. I think this is a nice normal height, so you have less materials to make this as kind of a decently sized building. But yeah, you can bring this up higher. A couple cosmetic things. So one of the things I did on my build was, well, one, you need to leave room for your store. So on each wall in this inner little courtyard, you leave 2 spaces, 2 spaces in the center there, 2 spaces in the center here and there. But I made that section where the store was going to be walls. So you can choose to do that. It'll give you that kind of look, or you can keep it all the same. If you do that look, you might want to change out the floor, kind of as I was mentioning. It gives you that weird little thing. So that we don't have to deal with that, I'm going to leave these like this on this build. So another cosmetic thing I did was on the back side, I added another entrance on either side just to give myself room to come into the building from any angle or most angles. You can take this out or you can leave it as walls. So I'm going to show you what it'll look like if you put in doors. Again, we'll have the floor problem, but that's where you can put some doors and it still won't interfere. I'm going to go ahead and take these out again for the same reason. Don't want to mess with the floor. So now let's look at what we're going to need for the build otherwise. We can open up this cart. We're going to need 4 stores, 3 sawmills, 4 carpentry tables, 8 storage chests, and 7 stockpiles. We're also going to need 2 windmills, and we're going to need to bump out, put a big hole in this section. It can be either side. It can be the left side or the right side. Heck, you could put it dead center. Maybe that's what we'll do for this build. No, actually, no, we can't put it dead center because we need a stockpile up there. But we're going to take out this ceiling right here, and we're going to build this up higher. So we'll do that. We're going to take it out real quick. Let's get this whole section, this whole plot. I think I need to go over 1 more row. Like that. Yeah, so let me dump these off. You can make this any way you want. I just like to center it, so we're going to have walls going up on the outside, and then this will leave us a center area. Actually, yeah, we'll do it from up above. That'll be easier. So let me get up there. I'm gonna get the stockpiles while I'm at it. We'll get the stockpiles, and we'll get something to build with, so we can kind of pillar up like that. And then we're gonna start laying down our stockpiles. So we'll put 1 here. Get 1 over here. We're going to wrap this all the way around. We're going to do 2 in the front section, like that. And these things are finicky to place sometimes. We'll do this one, and let's see if we can get this last one in. Alright, now on my build, I moved this up 1, so I'm going to take out, let me put this away. So we're going to need to take out the whole thing, and I realized just now I forgot I had upped that, so let me show you what I mean. So this is up 1 as well, just so that we could hide these chests in here. So let me head back over. I'm going to bump all of that out, and then we'll put the chest in. Okay, so we're now up at the top, and I've carved out the whole thing. So both of these plots in the back are completely open to the sky. So if you're building this the first time, hopefully you watched the full video and knew not to waste your time with this. I apologize otherwise. But what we're going to do is we're going to build this up higher. We're going to do a ring all the way across. I'm going to come back later and make the lower part look right so we don't have two levels of this foundation look. But that is a small minor detail that's just for look. So now we have this whole ring. On this plot over here, we're going to go ahead and fill this one in on the center like this. And this is where our last stockpile is going to go. So this, did not know you could place them that far away. This is where our 5x5 stockpile will go. And let's see if we can get that in. There we go. Okay, so that's the last stockpile. Now this section over here, we're going to, if I can get to it, okay. The stockpiles create a weird little, I might have to take this one up just so we can kind of build. There we go. And then I'll put the stockpile back down. So now we have a ring all the way around, and I'm going to, oops, build this up a little bit more. So I'm going to make it a kind of 3x3 square room with a little window in the middle. And this is, again, for aesthetics. It's nothing needed for the actual build, but the windmills have to be a certain height above the ground, above anything else. So we have to move up, and I'll get the exact measurement. So I think it's like 12 or something above. So we're gonna do this all the way around, and then I'm gonna need some windows. Let's get a little bit more logs. So that's up. I'm gonna leave a space in the middle for the window. So, oops, space here as well. Skip over that. There, window, skip. And we should have just enough. Alright, and then we're gonna go up one more. Let's get some more logs. We'll go across the window. And I'll get down so you can have a better look at this in just a second. And come across. Almost done. There. Alright, so let's, I'm going to build my way back up, but I just want to show you what that looks like. So we have this 3x3 face. It's a 5x5 square though. And there's a little window in the middle. So I'll come back and put the window in later. What we're going to do is now, can I pick this up? There we go. Let me build up. I'm going to put a roof on this. So we're going to switch over to the foundation look. And I'm going to cap this completely off. It'll make getting up here a whole lot easier once we have this cap, because we can just kind of cheat and use the unstuck command if we fall down. In your case, you would probably be going back down to gather more materials, so again, that will be handy. Alright, so now we have our 5x5. From here, we're going to make a kind of plus sign with our build. I'll get some more. I think, did I go all the way over? I think I leave one. Let's go back one. No, actually, I think I went all the way to the edge. We'll have to go check in a second. Alright, let me make sure I've made a plus sign. I have. And then from here, we're going to make a square. Like so. You don't really need to fill that in, but I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. And then here, I'm going to, you got to decide which way your windmill is going to be. So I'm going to have one over here and one over there. So I'm going to build up 3 going the opposite way. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me get down so you can kind of see what we have so far. Actually, I don't think I did that right. Or maybe I did. Yeah, because we're not completely done. Alright, so that's what it's looking like so far. We have And honestly, you can build this any shape you want. But let me drop down. I'll pick this one up. And we're going to type in unstuck. And we're now at the top again. Okay, so from here, I'm going to build up 2. And you know, I forgot my windmills. I'm going to do 2 on this side. So we're kind of making yet another plus sign. But I'm just going to give myself some windmills. And we're going to put 1 there. And 1 here. Now you can leave it like this if you want that kind of look. What I did was I covered it up, so I just put in a foundation on top of it, and it just looks like it's coming out of the logs themselves. So I stopped here. You can bring it up higher if you want. You can kind of do any kind of pattern you want. Again, all of that's not necessary. That was just to kind of give it some kind of non-blocky shape, whatever you need to do. So now we're on to the last part, setting up the actual automation. So we're going to put the 4 stores in real quick. Actually, I like it turned the other way, so let's try that again. So it looks like the cash register is facing on the inside. Put these in front of all 4 of our store windows. Next thing we're going to do is the carpentry tables. We're going to put 1 for the first door over here. We're going to put another one on the opposite side, so it's symmetrical. Same thing over here. We're going to rotate this, put it in that corner, rotate it, put it in that corner. Beautiful. Last, for the ground part, we're going to put, actually, let's get, there we go. We're going to get 3 sawmills. We're going to check and make sure that our floor is working. We got green light, green light, green light. All right, last thing we're going to do is put it in some chests right along the ceiling. Now you can put more, you can do less, you can do whatever you want. And then this right here, we're going to put 2 chests here. This is for the furniture side, so that it holds the furniture that we've actually created. And then I said we were going to fix this portion right here. So I'm going to get a few more hewn logs, and I'm just going to make these, if it works, there we go, foundations that go across so that we don't see that weird gap. There we go. You can technically box in your stuff if you want. I left mine open because I didn't quite like that. Like, whatever you want. Again, it's all about what looks pleasing to you. Alright, so now we have everything set up and in place. Now, my advice so that this doesn't get too complicated is that you name these stores for what they are. And instead of taking forever to type that in, we're just going to go take a look again at the stores over here so you can kind of get a feel for what's what. So this store I have named Hewn Log Store. You don't have to put it at the lumberyard. And then this one is, this carpentry table is Hewn Maker. So it's very clear when we're looking at the carpentry tables, this one is different from this one. So this one is going to say hew for board. So it's also doing the same job, but we know this one is for the boards. So if you take a look at the beginning of the video, you'll see the name for all of these. But we're just going to set up 1 store, and then you can kind of look at the, again, at the beginning of the video to get an idea of what to do for the remainder. Alright, so let's set up 1 store so you get the idea for it. We're going to buy logs, and we're going to sell hewn logs, and we will buy them for 1, and the hewn logs, we'll give it a, you're gonna have to give us 2 logs to make it. So we want to come out on the plus side. We're gonna up this to 3. It costs 3 logs pretty much to buy this hewn log. Once we do that in the store, and of course we would name it, we're gonna come over here to the carpentry table, and we're gonna say right here, we're looking for 999, 999. Again, do that 5 times over. The last part is to go up and name your different stockpiles. So I'm gonna quickly do that and come back down. We're gonna name this one logs for hewn. You can name it whatever you want as long as you know what it means. And this is where we have extra hewn logs, so we'll just put hewn logs. Now it's important to name them because what we want to do down here in our store, let's drop that off, is make sure that this carpentry table is tied when we look at storage, that it's linked only to these 2 stockpiles. So we're going to minimize all of this. It's a lot in here. Uncheck all of this, uncheck that. So we want the logs for hewn and the hewn logs. We're going to link those 2, and over here let's go ahead and name this one hewn maker, and we're going to have it link as well to just those 2 things. Alright, and now we just need to move these up. Alright, so we should be good to go. This will order it up. It's going to put the logs into this stockpile up here. And then this is going to accept the logs, turn them to hewn. It'll put them up there. Now sometimes it will get mixed up. It'll be, you know, hewns and logs here. But by at least naming them, you know that you have enough space for 2 stockpile worth of each one. And then whenever someone comes in, let's give me some logs, 10. We're gonna go ahead and drop these into the stockpile. Can we get there? There we go. We dropped it in, and as you can see, it is now automatically crafting in here. And what we'd be able to do outside as a person on the server, now suddenly, while we had nothing to sell before, we now have logs to sell. I could go ahead and purchase however many I wanted, and then you'll do that for all of the other stores, and that's pretty much it. If you want to get that sign, that took a little bit of playing with. What I did, it's 4 different small signs going across the top. Then I got some hewn logs, and I kind of brought them out one and then wrapped it around where the signage was. And let me click on one of these. So this is broken up, so pretty much it has about 3 spaces worth on each one. It will accept space in front of things. It will not accept space and recognize it at the end. So that's why the yard is a little bit smaller than the word lumber, but it kind of works. And then you can, if you want to change the color, you have to know the hex number, and you can just put that in whatever the hex number is and then your text, and that will change it. Let's not save that though. I went ahead and added windows on that, and I think I like that top where the windmills are a little bit better than this design, but again, you can do whatever you want. The last thing I wanted to mention before we close this up is the whole idea of this in the first place, which is some people may not like it that this is fully automated, that you could be offline for quite a while and still have everything functioning. So I'm going to kind of leave that to your discretion if you want to use something like this in the first place, because you can queue up quite a lot of things, but it is really helpful for those, especially on a server that has a high demand. It's set for high interaction, meaning you don't get that many skill points. So there may be someone that really can't do hewn logs and boards because they're specializing in something else. So having a store like this that even when you're not on, their demands are kind of met with what they need. So again, I'll leave this to your discretion, what you want to use and how much. Do what fits your server. So that's it for today's video. If you have questions on this or anything else related to eco, please leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We love some support and feedback. Take care.